Mesdames et messieurs,
The greatest festival of our contemporary society, the Olympic Games, is about to begin.
this is gonna be close.
Oh! They're all completely gassed! They've given it everything on the Globalbacken! Oh, yeah! Go! Oh!
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. But that is an Olympic championship. Ready.
Bonjour and welcome to day 5 of the Paris 2024 Olympics on Keep the Flame Alive, the podcast for fans of the Olympics and Paralympics. I am your host, Jill Jarris, coming to you from the main press center and joined as always by my lovely co-host, Alison Brown. Alison, bonjour, comment ça va?
Je suis mal trop. Yeah.
You have a sore throat?
Very not good.
Oh, no.
So earlier today, I thought I was going to have to go find a French doctor.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Yeah, so that may be my adventure tomorrow, but hopefully it will just pass.
Go to the pharmacy.
You know what? I was trying to find a pharmacy at Ouvray, but they are all fermés.
Pourquoi? Was it too late?
It was too late.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to find, wait, I know what it was. I looked it up. Pastille de la toux, I think, or pour de la toux.
Okay.
Anyway, I just want some cough drops. And the only place you can find them is the pharmacy. And trust me, I tried some other stops along the way.
Oh, yeah, no.
And if it's in the pharmacy, it's in the pharmacy, and that's it. So, had some tea. Hopefully it's just a sore throat and not any kind of infection.
Well, I've got some coldies back in the room.
Okay,
so
good.
you'll
That
take
might
some of
help.
That will help something.
So I apologize. The voice might be a little shaky today.
That's all right. Well, and we have some company. We have Makoto from Team Japan next to us. He has apparently heard us record before, and I don't know why he wants to be an audience member.
Well, he's working on Japan time, so that makes sense with the hours that we keep.
Exactly, but I guess, everybody wants to be close. Follow-up file.
Have you noticed that if you look at the boxes of the posters that the medalists receive, it looks like the poster is sealed with some kind of sticker that is the color of the medal?
I did not know that.
I have noticed this on the monitors. I haven't been close enough to any of the medal ceremonies. I'm hoping that's just not a weird reflection, that is in fact true.
It would be cool.
But because that would be really cool.
I will have to look. Now, something to notice. All right, well, let's begin the baguette.
So last night, we were leaving the media center quite late, as we do. And what we do is we cross the street to where there is one of the major IOC hotels.
Yes, because
So
it's a Le Meridien, let's be honest.
Yes, it is always got gendarme outside. So we have a nice, safe place to wait for our car to arrive. And it's well lit, so it's all great. So usually there's just a couple gendarmes standing outside. Well, last night there was, I want to say like 5 of them.
Yeah, there were like 5 of them.
There was a whole posse. And then all of a sudden, this other set of police, also I think a 5 or 6 group, walked down the street.
And they were police, let's be honest. Okay, so because the gendarmes had gendarme patches on their back and the police had police patches on their back.
So clearly they are like the Sharks and the Jets from West Side Story, which is immediately what I said. And then I started doing the choreography from the movie.
And it was funny because as the police walked through, like one looked back, it was like sharks, police, gendarme. Do 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 do.
I was waiting for them to like break out into colors.
Do 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 do.
So yes, we were at 3:00 in the morning. I was doing choreography on the sidewalks of Paris, and surprisingly, neither the gendarme or police were fazed by this.
I know. I think they just don't want to deal with us. They look at us and go, no. All right, what kind of volunteer? I'm trying to think of what cultural thing I did today. It's just besides sweat buckets.
Well, you went to McDonald's in Paris and got potato wedges.
I did go to McDonald's because it was so hot today. And
It was bad.
It was really, really bad, really hot. And when we get to BMX Freestyle, I will have the story of what it is like in the Place de la Concorde, the urban park. And that involved hours of wandering around looking for stuff. And I sweated so much, I had to dump water all over my head to cool down. And And I have a cooling towel, so you get it wet and it just tastes cold, and that helps. And the other problem was I was just sweating so much, my electrolytes were off. And I do have some Propel powder with me, and I just forgot about it. But that meant on my way to swimming, I bought a can of Pringles, and I ate like the entire can.
You just hosed that can.
I ate the whole can. And then when I was done with swimming, you had mentioned that there was a Five Guys in the train station, of course closed by then. And I was just like, oh, Five Guys. I don't even like Five Guys. And I could have used a burger. And then I was coming up from the train station, I'm like, oh, McDonald's is still open and it's right there. So went in, got a burger. When they had you could choose between potato wedges and French fries. So I chose the wedges. They were fine.
They were quite lovely.
And I had a Fanta. The burger wasn't good. I can tell you that. It was just not a great burger. But it was nice to have something that wasn't carb, because I have eaten almost nothing but bread and potato chips today. All right. What volunteer job would you like to do?
You buried the lead on Judo. So the people who clean the floors at Judo have folding brooms. They unfold like into a V.
Oh, really?
Yes, and they go across and clear the whole floor, and then they fold them in half
Huh.
to do the edging.
Interesting. Because I didn't have enough matches that I watched. I came at the end of a session, so I bet they go every couple of matches or between. I just didn't notice. I'm very sorry about that. That sounds
Folding
good.
brooms, they were fantastic.
Because you also buried the lead at swimming with mops.
I guess I didn't notice the mops.
Okay, because I was there. I actually was there an hour or so early. No, I was there probably 2 hours early. Spent a good 45 minutes wandering around in places where I shouldn't have gone. And
I gave you directions.
I know we'll get to that. And so I had a lot of time to sit and watch. And around the pool deck is that blue carpet.
Yes.
That gets very wet. So there are
Yes.
people who squeegee up it's not a squeegee, but it's a mop, and then they take it to that white line.
Yes.
And that's a drain, and they squeeze it out in the drain. But they weren't that great, because near the end of the night, where the podium side of the pool is, a big puddle was forming, and if those photographers had gone backwards, they would have been soaked. There was also flags, but I'm not sure you had backstroke in your session.
There was backstroke in one of my sessions, and I did see the volunteers who set up the backstroke flags.
Yes. I forgot to watch to see them getting taken down. But they had issues with those too.
Really?
Yeah, the one they had a problem getting it in. I might have video of it. I definitely have pictures. All right, time for everybody's favorite segment of the evening, toilet talk. Well, we don't really have much to say today because it was so hot. I don't think I ever went to the bathroom today. I went to the bathroom in the morning, and then I didn't go again until and I'm drinking tons of water too.
No, I actually did quite well today.
Okay.
I found everyone easily. Mm-hmm. They all worked. I didn't get locked in any of them. They all have the trough sinks, mm-hmm. which I sometimes don't enjoy.
How come?
Because people splash each other.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that.
No. Well, at Place de la Concorde, a whole section of spectator porta potties. Not porta potties. They were the trailer toilets, because there are porta potties, flat out porta potties at Handball, and there's trailer toilets at
Place de la
Concorde,
Concorde.
and they were out of order.
Oh no!
A whole section of them. But then I thought, well, it's so hot, nobody's going to the bathroom.
Fair enough.
But they were trying. That's for sure. All right.
We have to reorganize these segments because this is not.
Sounds horrible to get into. Yeah, let's talk about toilets, and then please send us some money. Please send help in the form of cash. And it's not even a baguette today because I'm so tired of eating bread.
So I don't even like chicken, but today I got a piece of chicken at the the canteen that I was at, and it was the best stupid chicken I've ever eaten in my life. Actually was pretty good.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, so days like today are when we could really use your help and support. We are an independent podcast, and that means we also have independent funding. And coming to these events to bring you the behind-the-scenes action is quite expensive, so we rely on your support to help keep our flame alive. If you could please donate a few bucks to help that flame go, that would be lovely. We have many ways to support us at flamealivepod.com/support. There's PayPal, there's Venmo, there's Buy Me a Coffee. You could buy me a Coke Zero if you want.
Buy me some chicken.
Coca Zero. And that would really help a long ways to keep this show afloat so that we can keep bringing you Olympic action in the future. So again, that's flamealivepod.com/support. If you wanted to be an ongoing patron of ours, we have a Patreon page. That's patreon.com/flamealivepod. And all patrons during Paris will get different kinds of bonus content that you can't get anywhere else. So everybody gets a pick of the day. And I think they might have gotten a bonus pick today because I had more than one. I don't know. I was just putting stuff up. I was in a good mood. It was a bad mood before, good mood by the end of swimming. And there's some video that got posted of some pre-show stuff from Gymnastics.
I have some show things what's the word I'm looking for? Halftime.
Oh, okay,
things
cool.
from beach volleyball.
Oh, excellent. And there's going to be something from swimming, probably. I have to look at the video. So that's going to be all for you if you are a paid patron member. The videos go to those who pay $5 a month or more, but that's extra special content for our special donors. But thank you all. We've gotten so much support so far. And
It's been fantastic.
It means so
very
much
grateful.
to us. Yes, and we appreciate the cab ride money to make sure we get home safe.
And we appreciate just all the feedback.
Yes.
It's great to hear what you want to hear on the show.
Except for that turns out to be toilet talk.
Who knew?
All right, let's get into daily results. Archery. We had men's individual eliminations and women's individual eliminations. Except for those were canceled today?
They got through some of the rounds, but not all of the rounds.
Oh, okay.
So one of the sessions, the end session, was canceled because of thunderstorms.
Okay.
You don't want to be shooting arrows
No, you don't.
in a thunderstorm.
No. So Casey Kaufhold and Casey Kaufhold's match for the eliminations is coming on August 1st.
So she's postponed until tomorrow.
Okay. And as is Brady Ellison, if you all follow archery, and Brady's a big archer in the U.S. In artistic gymnastics, we had the men's individual all-around final.
A little bit of a shocker on these results.
Oh, really?
Yes. Gold went to Japan's Oka Shinosuke. Silver went to China's Zhang Bohen. And bronze went to China's Xiao Ru Tang. The defending gold medalist, Daiki Hashimoto, finished 6th.
Whoa.
And Zhang Boheng, we were sitting here watching it together, very shocked at how that ended up. So Oka winning was a big surprise, but a good surprise.
It's a good surprise? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, Zhang Bohen was favored
Okay.
to win and did not.
Is that who Manu was talking about in the Facebook group? Because Manu, our listener Manu, was at Gymnastics tonight.
I honestly, I haven't seen it yet,
Okay,
so I
he's
don't know.
written, if you're in the Facebook group, which you should be, because it's hopping in there, Manu wrote a great report from men's gymnastics and stuff that he was able to see in person that you don't necessarily see on TV. He's like, I think something happened. And then he saw the scores and was like, yeah.
And just following up with some of our Americans, Paul Judah and Frederick Richard did not have a great night. They ended up 14th and 15th, respectively.
Okay.
You know what's up next?
What?
Well, first we have women's all around, but
Okay.
you know what I'm really excited about?
Horse.
Apparatus finals. It's my favorite part of the gymnastics competition.
So you'll be camped out on the stairs,
I'll be
getting up.
hanging on by the high chair,
Right.
balanced between.
the wall and nothing else.
I hope the Italians are there.
That would be great. They
Maybe
will
they'll
be
give me a
because
shirt.
well,
I can
I
only
don't-
ask.
You can ask and you can smell, and you can decide. All right, let's move over to badminton. We had men's singles, women's singles, and mixed doubles. And in the group stage, our Bai Wen Zhang beat Vietnam's Thuy Linh Nguyen 2-0, which means she won the group.
She did.
And she moves on to the bracket round. So congratulations
And
to
she
her.
looked good.
Did she?
Yeah, I watched a little bit on the feed.
Excellent. I will say in badminton, I did not notice shuttlecocks moving, but I'm also high up. So maybe if you're on the floor, you notice the movement of the shuttlecock more.
And, even when Beiwan was saying to us, it's very, very subtle.
Yeah.
She was explaining it's millimeters and centimeters and those small things. So probably as a viewer, we wouldn't notice. But if you go to hit the thing
Yeah.
and it moves a few millimeters, that's really going to throw off your shot.
Mm-hmm. All right. In basketball, we had women's group phases. Spain beat
Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico. Okay. 63-62. This was a nail biter. And then Serbia beat China 81-59. And it's still pretty early to tell what's going on with the group stages there, so we will keep monitoring that for you. In the men's group phase, Serbia beat Puerto Rico 107-66. And the U.S. beat, is this South Sudan?
That is South Sudan.
55-36. That's a low scoring game. I mean, South Sudan, I didn't know what to expect, but that's a low score for the U.S.
Did they lay off?
Maybe.
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 And again, it's pretty early in the group rounds.
Right. We had some 3x3 action today at Place de la Concorde, the urban park.
They squeezed these in. These were all postponed until the end because of the thunderstorms.
Oh, wow.
So they got
Okay.
these matches in,
Okay.
which was pretty exciting.
Okay. Women's pools. We had Austria beat Germany 21-19. Canada beat China 21-11. Spain beat France 17-12. And Azerbaijan beat the U.S. 2017. Whoa, the U.S. is now 0-2?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, wow. That's something. In the men's pools, France beat Lithuania 21-20. Latvia beat Netherlands 21-12. And China beat Serbia 21-15. And Poland beat the U.S. 19-17. Wow.
And they're also 0-2.
Wow.
And then tomorrow, I believe they're playing Latvia and Lithuania.
Oh, boy. Those are some powerhouses, too. Okay, so Place de la Concorde, let's talk about this place now. This is where the urban park is. So it's skateboard, street, and park, and BMX Freestyle. And break-in will be there. And 3x3 is going to be there. And you could buy a ticket. You could buy a ticket to see the sport in the sporting venue, or you could buy a ticket to just hang out in the park. And I thought there would be screens to watch, but there's no screens to watch.
Oh.
So it's an enormous area.
Enormous. This is where I made it to the media center and went no further because I only had 2 hours to get to swimming. And I knew if I ventured in, I may not make it out alive.
Well, it took me a while to find the media center as well. Found it, plopped down, and luckily I was by some Australians because this is the only time of the day I got to work on my computer. And I was doing some stuff, trying to get it in, and I looked to the side and I said, oh, there's BMX Freestyles going on. The women's finals are going on, like, Australia, how do I get there? And they were like, well, you got to go around here and you go there and just follow the crowd. And they're like, it's about 5 minutes walk. And it was.
Oh, good.
I got in there. Maybe we'll put a pin in this. But the thing about the urban park is it is out in the open, except for there are these like structural steel wide arch type things that you can stand under to get some shade, which they were all packed. And also packed were areas where the stands were making shadows because it was so hot. And it was just like, we've talked about this. Why didn't you put any kind of awnings over the spectator seating? You know what's over 3x3? The playing field has a tent over it, but not the stands.
Wow.
I don't know what they were thinking. They know it's hot here. They know they have a problem with heat. Why did you cheap out on this? And people looked miserable. Those misters were not doing anything to help. It was tough. And then also because the press tribune for BMX happened to be in the wheelchair area. So, oh my gosh, this was one of the best parts of the day was no stairs there because we went up a ramp.
Oh, nice.
But a few of the wheelchair people had to leave and go hang out underneath. They went down part of the ramp and just went into some shade because they were so hot. Like somebody else had to, there was a motorized wheelchair and somebody else was walking next to this woman trying to move her wheelchair because she couldn't physically do it herself.
Wow.
And yeah, it was not a pretty scene.
You know, one of the things that we've been talking about offline is what's going to happen in Paralympics because so few of these venues, the media tribunes, public transportation, accessibility is just not there.
Yeah. Unless they will magically put stuff in to make venues a little bit more accessible. I don't know. Heat-wise, for those who really have problems regulating their heat, I hope the hot weather goes down. But it was a tough day out there, and it just got so crabby. It was bad.
Let's do BMX results, and then we'll go back to beach volleyball
All
since
right.
we're talking about that.
This was so
This
sad.
was a heartbreaker.
This was a heartbreaker. Hannah Roberts, who we talked to, defending silver medalist, she fell on her first run. And then also, I had this written down, fell at the very end of her first run. So she got 70 points. And then her second run, her very first trick, she hit the ground with her feet. And it looked like she was hurting because she looked like she was hurting from the other one too. She had a couple bad crashes in practice trainings, so she wasn't on the top of her game, and that was really sad. She was so upset after that second run, just fell apart, and that was bad. I will say this about the BMX. The in-house announcer English one is phenomenal.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So good. Knows everything that they're doing, can explain it so quickly, talks to you about how difficult some of these moves are and what they have to do. He is so good. So good. I wish they could clone him and put him on the feed. In person, you see the height. You see how wide these things are. You see how the park is actually kind of big. You don't notice. The gold medal went to Deng Yawen from China. Silver went to Paris Benegas from U.S. And bronze went to Natalia Deem from Australia. The Chinese cyclists were just out the door, wowed you with something so difficult, like flips and twists and all those things. And then some of them got a little tired, I would say, probably, and couldn't do as much. But the gold medalist, Dang, she put on a run like you wouldn't believe. It was so good. Paris Benegas was sixth going in. She was start order number 6, but because everybody is they start with clean runs. She did a first run okay. She did a great second run though, and that was nice to see her jump up into second place. So I kind of thought it was cool. I didn't stick around for the men because it was so hot. Because, this is the other thing. So, of course, I can't find anything in the urban park. And I get to the Tribune. And, of course, now we're on ramps. It's not stairs. And I'm happy that there are ramps. And you're just going ramp, going all around and all around. You get to the top. And, of course, the Tribune is packed.
Oh,
and,
of course.
But the manager up there was American. And she took one look at me and said, "There's seats over there." And the volunteer was right there helping. And I'm like, ooh, you whipped her into shape, this volunteer. And so she showed me where the seats were. I sat down for 2 seconds because the boxes that that surround the tables that media sit at, that blocked most of my view. So then I noticed that there was down in the front part of the venue seat, the Tribune seating, there was a standing space. I don't think it was meant to be a standing space, but
It was a standing space now.
I knelt for a long time. Then I was like, I think I can stand because there's no one behind me. And then I got so hot that I had to kneel again because I thought it was going to go over. The volunteer next to me was not too happy that I butted into there. No, he just gave me a look. I'm like, dude, lay off. Because I think he wanted to be in that spot, or, you know, in that area. You know, it was really like I took his spot.
Well, he's working.
No, he's not. He's busy watching the final.
I know.
Because
Well, we'll get to another volunteer
exactly.
story.
Then I had to find the media center again.
Oh.
It took me 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
And I'm hot and getting hotter. I'm going under mist. And of course I have paper with me. I don't have my computer or anything, so that's nice. But I have paper and I don't want it to get soaked. But I'm getting, it's starting to get really bad. And I don't do very well in the heat. So I finally got my cooling rag out and I got that around me. I have to dump water on my head, drink some more. And I just keep going around in circles there's maps, and of course nothing says media on it. Absolutely nothing. And it's just like, yeah, spectators, they need to know how to get around, but you know, the media would like to know how to get around too, because this is a confusing place. And I kept walking into different areas where, you know, I wasn't supposed to go, and they'd direct me around and be like, where am I supposed to go? And one volunteer was finally like, well, you go here and you go here. And I said, where is that? You know, because I was just done at this point. And eventually I got back to the media center, which is in an area
it's not near anything.
It's not near anything. Luckily, this is a big complex, so they have a dining hall, but I was too late for lunch, so I got a takeaway lunch right before they closed the doors. So I got a sandwich at least, but it was cheese and bread, and that just didn't cut it. It was bad. And then, of course, it's in a muddy area. So you're walking on those plastic walkways.
That are covered in mud.
Yeah,
I
it's covered
had that
in
as
mud.
well,
Yeah,
too,
it was
today.
just, it's a great concept. But if it's hot, you just don't want to be there.
No.
You don't want to be there at all.
Men's results?
Men's results. Which I think the competition was almost over by the time I found the workroom. That's how bad it was. Argentina's Gil Jose Torres won gold. Silver went to Kieran Dayer and David Riley from Great Britain, and Anthony Jean-Jean from France won the bronze.
So we're going to go back up now to beach volleyball, which is where I was.
Okay.
Also melting in the heat. Also no covering on this stadium. I went to sit down in the chair and burned my little tushy.
No.
The chairs were dark blue. So thankfully, I remembered my own advice about bringing something to sit on. And I had my little swag bag from the Paris Media Center.
Nice.
And I sat on that. And I was able to sit in the chair. Otherwise, I would have had to just turn around and go back down the very janky, rickety 3 stories of stairs that I had just climbed up. The other thing, talking about finding the press tribune. So this press tribune had an enormous sign that said Media Tribune, which was fantastic, except it was on the wrong side of the doorway. So, for example, the media approaches, say, from the right. So you'd need the sign to be on the left of the stairway so you can see it from the media entrance. It's on the right. So the sign is behind you as you're walking in. So I went too far, said to the volunteer, you know, où est la tribune? And he says, right there. I turn around and I see this enormous sign that says Press Tribune. And I feel stupid. But then I say to myself, it's such basic 101 stuff. You put the sign in the place where the entrance would be
Right.
so you can see it. And Judo, which is in that same complex, had the same thing. So something about someone who was in this complex said, I'm going to put it here. But they put it so spectators could see it, I guess, and not go there. Not so media could see it and get to where they were supposed to go. But on the upside, I got to see our Shukvastani Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes win their match over the French pair of Vieira and Chamereau. Kelly looked fantastic. Serve looked a tiny bit shaky at first.
Okay.
I shouldn't say at first, sort of towards the end of the first set. I think they were just hot and tired, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got another wave, but they looked really, really fantastic. there was a halftime show. And it was these dancers. And Lord help them, they were wearing bomber jackets.
Oh, really?
In the blazing sun. There is no shade at beach volleyball anywhere. And this would have been so easy to fix and make it a much better experience for spectators. But spectator experience does not seem to be a priority.
No, and we've seen a lot of people who are having a great time. Thank goodness you're having a great time, because I don't know, man. Sitting out there for that long, we'll see.
I made it through one match. Wow. And I was
Done.
Went back to judo into the air conditioning. We'll get to that when we get to it.
We had some Canoe Slalom today. The women's C1 finals happened. Gold went to Jessica Fox from Australia, who's just, again, dominating this
Cleaning
sport.
up. And she brought her sister with her this time.
Yes. Silver went to Elena Lilich from Germany, and bronze went to our Evie Leapfarth from the USA. So we have another medal on TKFLASTAN's medal roster. In diving, it was the women's synchro 10-meter platform final. Gold went to Chen Yuxi and Chuan Hongchang from China. Silver went to Zhou Jingming and Kim Mi Rae from People's Republic of Korea, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or we would call them North Korea.
We can say that.
And Andrea Spendolini-Syriacs and Lois Toulzon from Great Britain won the bronze.
This is the 7th gold medal in a row for China on 10-meter synchro.
Wow. That is a long dynasty. We had some equestrian today. It was the Dressage Grand Prix qualifier, and we had a couple of a couple of Americans qualified. That would be Marcus Orlob and Adrian Lyle. Marcus is riding Jane, and Adrian is riding Helix.
The horses are the most important part of this.
I understand. As I was like, ooh, I got the dagger eyes.
Don't not mention the horse.
Fencing today was men's team saber.
Yes, the U.S. men ended up finishing 7th. Saber did not have a great games.
No, they didn't.
And
really.
I don't know what was going on, but we still love them. I'm upset for them. You know that. I'm upset for them because I know they're probably disappointed. But the medals matches were no joke. Gold went to Korea, silver went to Hungary, bronze went to France. France beat Iran for the bronze, 45-25. Yes, Iran in the bronze medal match. That was a surprise. The gold medal match was much closer. Korea beat Hungary 45-41.
Wow. And there was a story going around social media today.
Right. So in follow-up to the women's saber competition, the Egyptian fencer Nada Hevs announced on Instagram that she's 7 months pregnant and competed 7 months pregnant. Wow. To which I say, she is obviously very tiny, or that suit is really thick that nobody noticed.
Yeah, the suit can be really thick.
And she won against our own Elizabeth Tartakovsky. She had made it to the round of 16. The saddest thing, and I want to comment on this, the saddest thing that I've seen in social media is people having the absolute gall and nerve to say to her, "Oh, was it safe for you to do this?" To which I say 2 things. 1, trust a woman with her own darn body. And 2, she's the mother of the baby. Do you honestly think she would ever put that child in danger?
No, absolutely not.
So maybe think before you start questioning athletes and the choices they make.
I'm going to choose to move over to football.
Thanks, Sue. That's probably a good idea before I get myself in trouble.
We had some women's group match play today. Japan beat Nigeria. Or Niger.
Oh, Nigeria. Did I put the wrong letter?
I have no idea because they're close enough. Japan beat Niger 3-1.
Nigeria.
Sorry. Japan beat Nigeria 3-1. Spain beat Brazil 2-0. Ooh. But it's one of those where the money has gone to the men's team.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
Yes. Exactly. So Zambia beat Germany 4-1. U.S. beat Australia 2-1. France beat New Zealand 2-1, and Canada beat Colombia 1-0. So now qualified for the quarterfinals are France, Canada, Colombia, U.S., Germany, Spain, Japan, and Brazil. So what happened with that? So Canada made it through despite that FIFA
Correct.
ruling. Okay. We had more handball today, more men's preliminary action. Norway beat Hungary 26-25. Oh, close. Croatia beat Germany 31-26. Spain beat Japan. Oh, sorry, buddy. Spain beat Japan 37-33. Slovenia beat Sweden. Ooh, 29-24. France and Egypt had a tie at 26, and Denmark beat Argentina 19-14. We had the end. We're getting into the end of women's pool stages in hockey. So Argentina beat Spain 2-1. Germany beat France 5-1. Belgium beat Japan. 3-0. Great Britain beat South Africa 2-1. Australia beat the U.S. 3-0. The lovely hockey ladies we've talked to, they had a really tough Olympics, it seems like.
I think they had a tough draw.
And Netherlands beat China 3-0. That means those who have qualified for this quarterfinal so far are Belgium, Netherlands, Australia, and Argentina. Men, Spain beat South Africa 3-0. Germany beat Netherlands 1-0. Qualified for finals so far, Germany, Belgium, and India. Which, having seen gold, I always like it when India does well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is one of those things where you want them to do well in hockey. It's
Right.
just
Part of it. All right, you went to judo today. What did you think of judo?
So what did I think of judo? So I went to the end of the prelim session, and then I went to the medal rounds. So I saw a good amount of judo, mostly because the venue was air conditioned. Because I have to say, I did not know much of judo going in. You know, we've talked to Jimmy Pedro. I never knew what was going on. The
Not
in-house
surprised.
announcer said nothing. Absolutely nothing. He would introduce the people who were competing, and then never heard another thing. Wouldn't even announce the winner right away. Like, it took a while. To
I
announce
wonder-
and I don't know if that's judo culture.
Right.
And that was my confusing thing. So there would be scores. There was a gong going off
Yes,
at various points. I didn't know what that was about. I figured out eventually, like an hour and a half in, that was a golden score. You got a gong. Mm-hmm. Some of the matches were blink and you were done.
Yes,
Because of Ippon?
Yes, because the point of judo is to throw somebody on their back. And that's when you get ippon and the match is over.
Right. So the one thing that was, so Marie-Eve Gahi, the French woman who was competing, was absolutely beloved by this crowd. They went nuts every time she appeared. And she was in the repechage match less than 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And that match was done. Mm-hmm. And that was really sweet and sad because Gahi started crying. And then the woman who beat her, Gabriella Willems, started crying too. And the two of them were sitting on the mat comforting each other, which was amazing. The crowd was very knowledgeable. Thank goodness, because they told me when things were happening by just their reactions. Unfortunately, someone who didn't tell me what was happening was my volunteer. So I'm in the press tribune, and there are two volunteers who are monitoring the press tribune. So they are volunteers who are working. Mm-hmm. But they obviously knew a great deal about judo because they were talking through the whole match about what was going on, most of which I didn't catch because it was beyond my knowledge. Mm-hmm. So at one point, the crowd reacted very strongly to a call that was made. And then the referee made the little television symbol, so I figured out, okay, that meant replay. So I leaned over to the volunteer and I said, "Excuse me, could you tell me what's so controversial about what just happened?" Mm-hmm. And she looks at me and she says, "Shh, I'm trying to listen and follow the match."
What?
Yeah. And that was the Press Tribune volunteer.
Wow. Holy cow. That stinks.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't looking for a whole explanation, and nothing was happening because they were doing the review. I wouldn't have interrupted them, though I could have. It's their job.
Right.
But to ask a very simple question, like even if she wasn't a volunteer, even if she had just been another attendee, to speak to me like that when I was just asking a question was bad enough. But to be the Press Tribune volunteer,
Right.
and behave like that, they
That's
keep proving to me how poorly trained, ill-prepared, and unsympathetic they are. And it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because in general, the volunteers work, we've seen it at other events. It put themselves through the ringer for you. And I don't expect that.
right.
I'm like, just do your darn job.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
Well, we did have some medals today. In the women's 70 kilogram, we had Croatia's Barbara Matic won gold. Silver went to Miriam Bukarite from Germany, and the 2 bronze medals went to Michaels Polaris from Austria and Gabriella Willems from Belgium. Nice distribution there. And then in the men's 90 kilogram medal rounds, gold went to Lasha Bakari from Georgia. He's a repeat from Tokyo, so 2-time winner. Silver went to Murao Sanshiro from Japan. And the 2 bronze medals went to Maxime Gale, Nyagap Manbo from France, and Theodoros Tsilidas from Greece. What did you think of? Would you go back?
No.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
Just
I
too
don't-
complicated.
I would go back if I brought contributor
Okay.
Ben with me, or someone who could explain to me what was going on, because I could not enjoy it
Oh,
without
right.
any explanation of what was happening.
If it was the only arena around, would you go? And it's a hot day.
Not to deal with those volunteers again. No, thank
that's
you.
true. Okay. That's a shame. Okay, out in rowing, we had women's lightweight double sculls semifinals. Our Michelle Sexer ranked 3rd in the semis with a time of 7:05.03 and qualifies for the medal races.
Yahoo!
Oh, that's exciting. In the men's quadruple sculls medal final, gold went to Netherlands, silver went to Italy, and bronze went to Poland. And in the women's quadruple sculls medal final, gold went to Great Britain, silver to Netherlands, and bronze to Germany. All right, we have in sailing, the women's skiff regatta is still going on. Our Stephanie Roble and Maggie Shea are in 9th place after 12 races, and the medal round is next. We had trap finals over in shooting. Gold went to Adriana Rano Olivia from Guatemala. That's a nice country. Yeah. Hey.
That's not the first medal for Guatemala either. We've said that a couple of times.
Silver went to Silvana Maria Stanco from Italy, and bronze went to Penny Smith from Australia.
Now, we should have some surfing medal results, but we do not.
What's going on there?
The waves are dangerous. That's not uncommon. It happens when there's storms in the sea, so it is not safe for them to surf. So it was postponed yesterday and postponed again today.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's
but
pretty
they
tough.
have reserve days on the schedule
Right.
that, for this very reason, we don't want to lose a surfer.
No,
in
not
the
at
wave
all.
at
Not at all.
Teotihuacan.
And this was a wave. The wave is so big that they had special training maybe a year ago or so for surfers who were not as experienced with the waves in Tahiti to help them learn how to do it. That was one of the big, I don't want to say controversies, but that was a concern, that you had surfers maybe getting in on a continental qualification and not knowing how to surf this wave. So I'm glad they are trying to keep everybody safe, that's for sure.
So hopefully we will see results tomorrow.
Swimming. I went to swimming tonight. Swimming is all high demand tickets, so we keep putting in for that, and we got one. You got to go. You got to see a couple sessions, and tonight I wanted to put in to see Katie Ledecky in either the 1500 meter or the 800 meter, And tonight was a 1,500 meter session. I got in a chair only tribune seating spot, which was fine. And I did not realize what else was on the schedule tonight.
You got a great night.
Got a great session. So most important thing of the night is baskets. As you know from when you gave me a look.
The basket people. No, I'm laughing because I said, "Oh, the basket people are here," and the volunteer who was saving me from my lost adventure loved that I called them the basket people. So I'm hoping, I am hoping with all hope that has now been introduced in the lexicon.
Right. So if you remember from U.S. swimming trials, the within a minute of walking into the venue, I became enthralled with the young people who were in charge of taking everybody's gear from the pool deck backstage to where they could pick it up after their races. And they moved with precision. They were so proud of what they did. Everything was just so at U.S. swimming trials. Not so here tonight, I noticed. And I was seated on the other end from baskets. So I did have to really pay attention. And thank goodness we had a 1,500 meter free. That gave me enough time to pay attention.
Right. The press seating is towards the turn side of the pool.
Yes. And as you said, the baskets are these little bins that are placed inside a very tall square structure. But that structure gets moved off the pool deck anytime there's a medal ceremony. So these poor people are hauling the whole structure off like 3 or 4 times tonight. And they have to haul it back on. But their formation was just, they were not as sharp. They were not formed. And instead of the 1 leader who raised their hand, they had 2 leaders. They had one on either end. And a very cool, very subtle move was when it was time to go to the baskets, they would just step forward. So you saw them step forward, they would go get their basket out and kind of get back in line and kind of walk back. They weren't in step or anything, which I
They
totally
weren't
missed.
the Beijing medal girls.
No, and they did have mops came out with them.
Excellent.
And did a little, but they didn't really like mop off the starting blocks like they did in Indianapolis. So it just didn't look as sharp. They did their job, but it didn't look as sharp. I will say that. We had flags
For backstroke.
And in Indianapolis, because it was in a football stadium, they had the flags on rigging, and that got lowered from the ceiling and then raised again. And here it was a regular pool, so it had regular pool flags. They are...
They sort of stick them in poles.
They have them, yes.
On the side.
They're poles that are on the side of the ground. So they had to, I did notice the flags on the ground, and I was like, ooh, flags. And then I was like, is there backstroke tonight? Yes, there was. And a couple of volunteers had to put the flag on top of, they had to like rig the flag to the top of the pole and then put the pole in. And we had a volunteer who had a tough night trying to get the poles, and the manager came up, but it was okay. They got it done. It was all right. So first we had women's 100-meter free. This was a race.
I was watching it here in the press center.
Yeah. Gold went to Sarah Sjöström from Sweden. Silver went to Tori Husk from the U.S. And bronze went to Siobhan Bernadette Hagley from Hong Kong.
Her second medal.
Yes. Olympics number 5 for Sjöström.
Yeah, I looked that up because I feel like we've been saying her name for my entire life. And she's only 30. So she was like 14 the first time out in Beijing.
Yeah, it was incredible. And it was kind of a little comeback because I believe Husk was leading at this flip turn, and she was all the way at the end. The people were really spread out, but during the medal ceremony, as the medal ceremony for this is interesting, and I think listener Brittany has talked about on the Facebook group how she's been watching a lot of medal ceremonies because they just get her. And honestly, I know what you mean, Brittany, because the medal ceremony is good. They come out, everything is timed right with the music so that when the gold medalists come on, the music swells just when you need it to. They do their thing. Oh,
Sergei Bubka did the medals.
At judo?
No,
Oh.
at swimming.
Oh, for you?
No, tonight he did one of the medals. I don't know which one.
Maybe it was the last one because I did not stay
Oh,
for the
okay.
last ceremony because I
Yes.
wanted to get back here. Speaking of famous people, Natalie Coughlin did the 3 coops.
I saw that. She looked good.
She did look good, and everyone is still excited about that. So I love the fact that they brought that tradition over. So you have the medalists, patrons. I think you get a picture of the setting up and making sure everything is right with the photographers thing going on.
Oh, did you see the guy who practices standing
Yes.
on?
Yes.
So there is a person who basically pretends to be a medalist. And he's probably, I hope it's the same guy that I had.
An older man in an orange vest.
With a big bushy
Yeah,
beard.
yeah.
Probably like the most unswim medalist like man, but he's lovely and he stands and he waves his arm and so they can all get their color balance and they're
Yes.
lining up the shots.
Yes.
I love it. He does it every night, I guess.
Yeah. And so they get their medals, they get their posters, and then everybody gets up on the top stand to take the picture, and then one of the 1924 people come in with a camera so they can take a selfie, and then they come off the podium and they go around to the other pool of photographers that is on the side of the pool, and they go through that, and then the 1924 people kind of escort them around the entire pool.
They get to do a lap of honor.
Yes.
And
so,
people go nuts.
Yes. So I'm bringing this up because Hoffley would acknowledge the Hong Kong flag people, did not acknowledge the Chinese flag people. Yeah. I noticed actually, I'm like, what's going on? Because there's people right in front with Chinese flag and they're waving it, and she points up to a Hong Kong flag and waves. So that
And
was
I
something.
mentioned that the other day from table tennis, the idea of the relationship between the Hong Kong athletes and the Chinese fans.
Yes, so that I thought was very interesting. The other thing that really got me by the end was the technical officials are in their final finery. They are sitting in 2 rows of chairs. And when the medalists pass them, they get up and they clap. It
I
got
see
me.
you reacting to it. Yeah, I did not notice that when,
No, they
when
did,
I was
yeah.
there, but that's a
Yeah, they get up and they clap until the last medalist passes them.
that's a great tradition.
Yes.
I love the more I have experience with swimming events, which is not a lot, but the more we do this with swimming events, the more I love the traditions in the sport and the way swimmers and people in the sport love it.
Yeah. And I think every sport probably has their own traditions, and as you learn them, but we already came into swimming with knowledge of the sport. So being able to just not have to build up knowledge, and then we have brain space to look at all the stuff that's going around. Yeah, that one just got me. So then
You got to see a Leon Marchand race.
I got to see 2.
Yeah, I know. I
Two
didn't
Leon
rub it
Marchand
in
race.
a little bit.
He is the man of the Olympics, I will
He's
say.
fantastic.
And we had the 200-meter fly final. Leon Marchand won gold from France. He got the Olympic record on this race. Christoph Milak from Hungary won silver, and Ilya Karun from Canada won bronze. I thought fencing was loud.
Oh, this is no joke.
Yeah, this was so loud. Everybody is going nuts, hoping he wins. He does win. They go nutser.
Did you see the big cutouts of his head?
No.
So that there seems to be this, and I've seen it at other events. I first noticed it at swimming. They have these giant cutouts of his face, and they have it for several French athletes. So you see Leon Marchand, giant heads floating around.
But everyone was thrilled. It's so exciting. I always love it when a host country does well in the medals. And I know people are wondering what is going on with the U.S., but the U.S. has said, different people, Bobby Fink had said, hey, the rest of the world is getting better. It's not us getting worse. The rest of the world is getting better, and the sport needs that because you want the global thing. It's not fun when a country dominates over and over again. So we're really seeing this because there's a lot of really good French swimmers.
And we're seeing a pretty wide variety of countries medaling in swimming.
Which is also nice. But I will say it's great when the host country wins. It's great that he is having a great games at home. Come on, that's exactly what you want. So then we had some semifinals, and then it was Katie Ledecky in the 1500 free.
Just write the check.
Oh, you do? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She started off under world record pace, that let up a little bit, and she was so far ahead. She was so far ahead of other people. The silver medalists, I'm pulling up my times here.
So Anastasia Kirpichnikova from France.
You can go ahead and say that.
Well, no.
Oh,
So
sorry.
she had this really cute quote that we pulled up where she says, "I was shocked. I can't imagine that I'm second, right behind Ledecky."
Right. Well, she wasn't right behind Ledecky. She was like 10 seconds behind Ledecky.
But you know what? In the
usual.
medals, that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't, because you don't know that until I was wondering if you gave her maybe 3 more laps, she would have lapped somebody, I think, at the end. And the race really was for silver. There were 3 people going for silver and bronze. So Katie Ledecky won gold. She got an Olympic record and was the 8th fastest time with that.
Well, doesn't she have like the top 20 times in
Something
this race?
like that. Yeah, I know. So she just supplanted herself again. But you have to slot in the time there. She had a really, really good swim, looked really good. And Kipchakova from France won silver, and Isabel Goes from Germany won the bronze.
And then Leon Marchand comes back.
I know, for the 200 breast. And this was great because breaststrokers' heads go down below. And
Did they do the yell
Yes.
every time somebody bopped up?
every time he bopped up, they yelled for him. And it was so, so cool.
This is the medal ceremony, though, where Leon Marchand has a reputation
Okay.
of being somewhat arrogant. He's really good at what he does, and he's very young, and he's very good looking, and it's sort of a perfect storm. But when I saw him on the medal stand for this one, it cracked.
Oh, really?
It looked like he realized what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the coolest thing that could ever happen to him. To do so well at a home Olympics, and the crowd is going wild. And I saw a change in his face, which was really special to watch.
Nice, because it was hard for me to see the big jumbotron was behind us, so we couldn't see any of the fun stuff. So Marchand won gold. Zach Stubblety Cook won silver. He was the gold medalist from Tokyo, and then Casper Corbeau from France won the bronze. We had backstroke semifinals. Ryan Mirth. No, we're not going to. I have to take that out.
Okay.
Then we ended the night with men's 100-meter free final. Gold went to Pan Zhani from China, who got a world record. He looked so fast. It really was a beautiful, beautiful swim. Then silver went to Kyle Chalmers from Australia, and bronze went to David Popovici from Romania.
The Americans were, I believe, 7th and 8th. And to have no American on the podium in the men's 100 free is going to cause a lot of consternation among American swimming fans.
I would not be surprised. But it was a great night at swimming. That I will say. Got to sit next to Peggy Shin.
Love to see our friends at events.
So, good night. Swimming has just been it looks like it's been a fun meet so far. Okay, we have table tennis action happened. We're in round 2 and 3 of the women's and men's singles event. Regular tennis. I have to get this in my head. They're catching up in Roland Garros. So we are at the quarterfinals for the women's singles. Iga Swiatek from Poland won against Danielle Collins, 6-2, 2-6, 4-1. Ooh, someone took Iga Swiatek to 3 sets. Good job, Danielle Collins. Danielle Collins, this is her last year. She has announced she's retiring, and she's doing like a farewell tour. It was really nice that she got to represent the U.S. at the Olympics. Men's doubles. Whoa.
This is a shocker.
This is a shocker. Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz from Spain lost to Krajicek and Rami from U.S. 6-2, 6-4, or 4-2, 6. Well, the U.S. won 6-2, 6-4. And then Andy Murray and Daniel Evans from Great Britain won against Taro Daniel and Nishikori Kei, I believe, from Japan. 6-2, 7-6. Triathlon happened today. When I got off the train, or I got off the metro to go to Place de la Concorde, people were all lined up to watch the triathlon. So that was really cool.
And they pulled it off. Somehow they pulled it off, which is remarkable after all the hemming and hawing and consternation and water testing. Somehow the event happened.
Right. So we had both men's and women's today. Peggy Shin was down there. She told me, because I was asking about the stairs, and she told me that the currents were pushing people sideways.
Huh.
So that they would line up to go toward a buoy, but the current would make them drift. So that the swim was pretty hard. A tough day for Morgan Pearson, American. He finished way far down.
He was 31st.
But he was tied for 4th on that transition. That transition, he was one of the best ones out there, and we learned all about it in our talk with him.
Right, and he hasn't made a comment, which we're not surprised about. He doesn't love talking to the press, but neither has USA Triathlon. So there hasn't been comment about the men's race yet. Maybe tomorrow we will get some more information as to what their reaction to the conditions were.
I have heard that the bike race portion was very, very slick, which was really tough. For the men, Alex Yee from Great Britain won the gold. He was a silver medalist from Tokyo. And I think he came up pretty far. He was a little far back when I was watching stuff.
There was a surge at the end there.
New Zealand's Hayden Wild won silver. And bronze, Leo Berger from France got the bronze.
And in the women?
Gold went to Cassandra Beaugrand from France. Nice home win. Come on. With a huge crowd. Come on. Silver went to Julie Deron from Switzerland, and Beth Potter from Great Britain won the bronze. We had some more preliminary round action in volleyball. I got to go back to beach volleyball because contributor Ben was there in the evening session with his sister Charlotte, who sent me a little video of the halftime show, or the break show, was a man dancing with a banana and eating a banana to a song about a banana.
Well, I had the dancers in the bomber coats at 95-degree heat, so I think the banana was probably a safer choice.
But in men's prelim round action, Italy beat Egypt 3-0, USA beat Germany 3-2, Slovenia beat Serbia 3-0, and France beat Canada 3-0. So it's kind of, there's a few undefeated teams. It's still kind of early to tell what's going on in the pools. In water polo, the women were in the pool today. Australia beat Netherlands 15-14. Ooh. Canada beat China 12-7. USA beat Italy 10-3. Nice resounding victory for the women there. And Spain beat Greece 10-8. So on the group standings, Netherlands is on top of Group A with 2-1 record, even though Australia is 2-0. They haven't played their third game. Group B, Spain is undefeated 3-0. USA is at 2-1. They're in second place. So they're sitting pretty right now.
Because they got Flavor Flav. Oh, have you seen how Jason Kelsey has now jumped on to the whole Olympics bandwagon? He is now the biggest fan of women's rugby, and apparently he is here running around France in a beret. So if anybody spots Jason Kelsey, let me know where he is so I can get him a pin to put on that beret. You know, I love when celebrities use their celebrity to support other athletes. It's not about him.
Right.
It's about these athletes are amazing. I love them. And my fame can bring them a lot more attention.
And for most of these sports, that is so helpful here. Because so many athletes just, they put a lot of work, and it's a lot of hours to train to be an athlete of this caliber. There's not a lot of money in it for most people. So it's really helpful that they come around and do something good. So I would love to see Trev.
I know.
To see Jason Kelsey.
And follow up on rugby as well. There was a haka at
Yes.
the women's match.
Yes.
So I know you were concerned that there may not have been, and I said there had to have been. So that was...
It took me a long time to find it because I could not... Meredith posted it on the group, but it was geo-blocked for me, so I had to go into the replay and figure out where they did it in the match, because they didn't do it at the beginning. They did it after their gold medal was delivered. And, of course, get you
right here.
Right
so
here.
You've had an emotional day.
It has been ups and downs, and more downs than ups. I will say that.
You know what you need?
What?
You need the love of a good puppy.
I do.
And we have a good one. Our mascot for the middle days of the Olympics is Serendipity, who lives with our listener and also friend of the show, Amy. Seri is also the sibling to a very bossy tuxedo cat brother named Pluto. So apparently she has taken on some feline qualities.
Oh.
Amy did not get into the details, so I might have to research that a little bit more, but we'll get some more stories for you about Serendipity for the rest of the week.
Excellent. TKFLASTAN's medal count.
So we added a bronze today, so the total is 1 gold, 2 silver, 3 bronze. It puts us at 9.5 on the medal table between Canada and Germany.
I will take that. All right. A lot of TKFLASTANIs are in action tomorrow. We have Casey Kaufhold continuing her quest for a medal in women's individual archery.
Evan Dunphy takes on the 20-kilometer race walk.
Oh, you're kidding. We're having that already? I guess it is.
Yes.
It's time.
It's time.
Oh, man. Choices to make. Team USA men's 3x3 continues pool play against Lithuania and Latvia.
Cam Wood and Elise Willoughby begin their runs on BMX racing.
Women's team foil is up next for USA fencing.
Christy Wagner finishes her Olympics in the women's double sculls B final.
Stephanie Roble and Maggie Shea finish the regatta for women's skiff.
Mary Tucker competes in women's 50-meter rifle 3-position qualification.
And then we have more pool play for TKFLASTANIs on Team USA's women's hockey and men's water polo teams. Wow.
It's been a day.
It has been a day, and I haven't figured out what to go to tomorrow.
Nor have I. It'll be a surprise.
It will be a surprise. So it'll be a surprise for you, too. And that is going to do it for this episode. Special thank you to our researcher, Annalie Dable.
You can get in touch with us on X, YouTube, and Instagram at FlameAlivePod. Send us an email at flamealivepod@gmail.com. Call or text us at 208-352-6348. That's 208-FLAME-IT. Chat with us and other fans on our Facebook group, Keep the Flame Alive Podcast, and get our special daily Games Time newsletter. You can sign up for that at our website, flamealivepod.com.
Join us again tomorrow for more action from Paris. Hopefully it will be cooler so
It's
that we can
gonna
be more fun.
rain.
I will take the rain if it's cold rain.
I think it's going to be hot rain.
Jeez.
Which is the worst.
Because we're crabby. And that's not fun.
And I'm sick now.
And it's not fun being crabby. I don't like being crabby Jill. Crabby, sweaty Jill. I was so wet when I showed, because contributor Ben did arrive today, and I was so sweaty and wet. He's just like, do you want a dry shirt? I'm like, no, because it's not going to matter. It's just sweat, and I'm gross and everything, and I had to kneel in the Tribune, so my pants are all dirty again, and I don't want to wash them because they take like 3 days to dry.
And on that note, please be sure to tell a friend about the show and share it on your socials, because you are not the only one who is getting obsessed with the Olympics right now.
Good. Well, I'm glad
So help
more
us find your
are.
people.
Exactly. And please do not forget that we could use your financial support as well at flamealivepod.com/support. Thank you so much for listening, and until tomorrow, keep the flame alive.